Alright guys, bit of a weekly update related to stuff in Spain predominantly. First thing is being approached a few people that have got problems with administrators and what else is it? Yeah, the presidents of the associations relating to fees and stuff that you end up paying as community charges. One person is actually questioning where the money goes and asking how do they know where the money's being invested. There should actually be a statement of accounts and it should be accessible. The second one is relating to somebody that actually paid 2 years in advance, because what happened is they've got a lot of non-paying people in their block that quite simply, due to some of the issues relating to getting some of the services done, the others had to bump up the difference. And then what's happened is a meeting occurred because what happened is some of the properties were sold due to the fact they paid no taxes either. The money had been reimbursed from these community charges because they got them out of the properties as part of that receivership. And then the president and the treasurer pulled the meeting an hour early just so they could close the meeting and disappear without actually taking on board what anybody else wanted, which in all honesty is they want their money back because they shouldn't have had to pay it in the first place. But also the treasurer and the president have come up with investing the money in some form, which was not their decision, and there's things like there's 3 months to appeal it, but the point being is you just need to be very careful with a lot of these people. Some of it is they're doing the job, and quite simply it's an environment where nobody really takes that much of an interest, which is why they get away with things and nobody really checks on it. But you should be able to get the statement of accounts, you should be able to see what they're investing in, there should be a voting, annual meeting, all these sort of stuff, and it should be on your notice board somewhere. So if you're buying a property in Spain, I'd investigate that stuff, because sometimes the community charges can also be a little bit higher than some people want to pay. The other side of it being that they're selective on where they invest it, because I mean, like where we were when we had the flooding problem, took over a year to get it resolved. Yet when the president had an issue, it was a couple of days. How different it is when you control the purse strings. But that's one of the things I want to bring up. The other one is noise. I mean, I do find Spanish are awake a lot more later than a lot of people like myself. Today I'm quite tired because the guys downstairs were arguing all night till about 6 o'clock in the morning. What annoys me with that sort of stuff is generally Spanish are loud. I mean, I'm not being funny. I'm normally, well, I'm from an environment where even though I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm not one for blasting my music out and all that sort of stuff. But in Spain, it's quite normal for people to do that. They'll have the music full blast till 3, 4 in the morning, sitting out in the garden to make it as noisy as possible. But I wouldn't mind even though they're just arguing downstairs. It's when you hear all the furniture banging when they're throwing things around. But it's not the first time I've experienced it. It's just something to be aware of. Spaniards are generally a bit noisier than people from elsewhere, and it just is. It's not a case of, oh well, you obviously think that's wrong. It's like they're just noisy. Don't know why. Don't know why level 11 has to be used a lot when people are talking to each other 5 feet away or whatever, but you'll never get that to change. It's just part and parcel of our life. What else have I had this week? Yeah, I've been talking to Andreas. We're going to start looking at doing some stuff on the legal stuff, because Andreas is more on the legal side. Andreas works at a legal and accountancy practice, so like this one related to dealing with the problems around administrators, etc. How do you get access to the accounts, etc. All that sort of stuff. Andreas will deal with. Yeah, I've already asked him to put something together to go away and have a look at it and come back to me. You know, come back with the legalities around it and what they're legally obliged to do. You know, at the end of the day, the statement of accounts, do they have to show it annually or when you request it? You know, these sort of things. So Andreas is working on that sort of stuff. For translation stuff, my wife deals with that in April, doing stuff like your NIE, your residencia, all that sort of stuff. Andreas is more legal stuff, dealing with things like buying a house. He'll do all the surveying stuff, make sure that there's no debt on the house, all that sort of information, whether the taxes have been paid. The taxes being paid is a big problem in Spain. Getting back to the properties, which will bring this on. A lot of people do not pay their community charges, a lot of people do not pay their taxes, and this is why some places struggle to maintain the areas, which is annoying. It is annoying because you're penalised because of people not paying their way. I know there's another property somebody we know was renting from a couple of British alcoholics. They have not paid their tax or community charges for at least 8 or 9 years. But I know, seeing the state of accounts on that development, it seems about 3/4 of the people don't pay their way. They don't pay their community charges, they don't pay their taxes. Those sort of things are a big problem in Spain. And this is why it gets to a certain point where SUMA will eventually come and repossess your house, and they will do it. It's just a matter of time. There's a house opposite that same house where that's exactly what happened, because the taxes haven't been paid for something like 16 years or something. So they repossessed it, and all they're wanting out of that is normally the tax money. So you can get a good bargain on those for renovations, but how you know that these things are available is probably never going to happen, because a lot of this stuff is no doubt very internal. But at the same time, if you can find a way for a house that's going bankrupt due to non-tax payments, etc., it could be a very, very good buy. It won't need renovation without doubt. They don't pay the taxes, they pay to renovate the thing either. So it's definitely worth a look though. Thanks for watching.